Hey guys, so about a month ago I made a video about YouTube culture, and in it I said that viewers don't really know the YouTubers that they watch, which I still believe is true, but this got me thinking, at what point do we actually know someone? How many texts, how many hours spent with a person, how many conversations does it take for us to completely understand someone? And as I was thinking about this, I realized that people are just so multifaceted and fluid that it's kind of impossible for us to ever say that we fully know someone. It sounds kind of silly to think that we could ever know exactly who someone is and define them confidently and accurately. Even if you've had the same best friend for years and years, every new experience you have with them teaches you a little bit more about who they are. And they've also probably changed a lot over the course of your friendship. Your idea of them 5 years ago is probably not a good representation of who they are today. And even then, you still really only know the person that they are when they're around you. People change depending on their environment and who they're with. And I'm not saying everyone intentionally changes their behavior when they're with different groups of people. Some people do, that's beside the point. But I mean, everyone to some extent feeds off the energy of the people around them. For example, I think that my friends from my sailing team would define me much differently than the close friends that I have in college, and that's definitely not because I intentionally change who I am when I'm with the different groups. I just think that different aspects of my personality can come out in different ways when I'm with two entirely different groups of people. And I think it's also impossible to see people objectively anyway. You are the baseline for how you see other people. Chances are, if you see someone as competitive, they are just more competitive than you are. And if you see someone as unmotivated, they're just less motivated than you are. So if no one fully knows anyone, are you the only one that knows yourself? That's kind of lonely, isn't it? But wait! Here's where it gets corny and existential. So I was thinking about all of this and I was like, great, does anyone actually really know me? Well, the obvious answer is that I know myself, right? I mean, I know all my motivations for everything I do. I've grown up with myself. I should be able to define myself perfectly. And then I realized that my impression of myself is probably just about as skewed as everyone else's. I'm sure there's plenty of repressed memories going on up in here and a lot of subconscious thoughts that maybe I wouldn't necessarily identify with, but they're there regardless, they're part of me. And then there's the labels that we use for ourselves, and I know personally that I don't recognize change in myself until much later. So if I were to define myself, whatever terms or ideas I use right now would probably be months or even years outdated. For example, I've always thought of myself as someone who didn't like the color pink. But now that I think about it, pink's not a half bad color. I don't really mind pink. It's orange that's ugly. I don't like orange very much. That's definitely true. I don't like orange. Pink's okay though. And then I think that there are parts of ourselves that we don't necessarily see, but the people that we interact with might at some point. I try not to be a jerk. I wouldn't consider myself a jerk. I try to be a nice person. But I'm sure there's someone out there who just thinks I'm a huge jerk. And maybe that means that part of me is a little bit insensitive, or I can be an outright jerk and I just don't really identify with that as much. So, in conclusion, I don't think you can really define yourself. I would like to put on the table for consideration the idea that a person is defined by a conglomeration of how other people see them and how they see themselves. One person cannot define another, nor can they entirely define themselves. So those are just some of the thoughts that have been swirling around in my head for these last few weeks, and I felt the need to share them with you guys. Hashtag Marisa goes through an existential crisis. Please let me know what you guys think about this. You guys always have very intelligent and insightful things to say, so I would love to read them because I don't know what's going on. I don't know who I am. So let me know what you think. Like, share, subscribe, and I'll see you guys soon. Bye. John Green, I hate you so much. What kind of sick human writes a book that not only has such romantic tragedy that you just want to gouge your eyes out because you're crying so hard, but also makes you question your entire existence and the whole way you've been living your life? Why, John Green, why? Blooper. Even if you've had the same... I'm gonna sneeze. ideas I would use would probably be